So, Mark's verse here. So, today we're going to do something different. We are going to do a reaction video of me watching the leadership chat with Biker and Meg about a little bit of future directions of Horizon Worlds, especially with building and scripting, and also some reasonings and motivations behind them establishing the Oral Interactive studio, the studio behind Super Rumble. And yeah, let's just see what they have to say. Let's go.
Hi everyone, thank you all for joining us. Hope everyone's having a lovely morning, day, evening, whatever time zone it is where you are. Thank you for joining us here for this really wonderful chat with Vika and Meg Fitz here for On the Horizon Product Leadership Chat. It's a really exciting time for Horizon Worlds. I'm sure you've all got lots that you'd like to hear. And yes, thank you all for joining us. So we have Meg Fitz with us today, who is our Product Marketing Director. Make sure I get that right.
Okay, that's interesting. They have the product marketing director here on the call here, instead of a product manager or product director. It's not a bad call. A lot of the times, product marketing and product are, very closely knit. But I would say a bigger difference between these two roles are product manager usually are more technical and more product roadmap, product vision oriented, while product marketing manager is a bit more marketing and selling the idea to its user oriented. So not a bad call to have a product marketing manager on the call. But I would expect a product director in a setting like this. But let's hear what they have to say.
Thank you for joining us, and we have Vika here, game director and creative director for our studio Aura Interactive. How are you both?
Game director, nice.
Good. Hey, AJ, you welcomed us, and let's say welcome AJ, obviously the real celeb here at the Discord, and we're super excited to chat with everyone here today.
Totally, plus one to that.
Oh, thank you very much. No, it's great to be within all the community and such, and I know that everyone in Meta is always really excited to hear everything from them, so it's my pleasure to be that role. We have a nice little half an hour chat here. We are recording this, so if you are seeing this or you missed the beginning, there will be a way to watch this back, or to watch little clips from this. But like I said, this is a...
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the person who has completely missed this. This is also why this is a, late recording, a late reaction to what they had to say. And I've actually heard about some of the stuff that they announced in this video. But it's different, like when you heard about it, sort of like a rumor, right? From something that's almost officially announced by at least Meta people. So it still hits me a little bit different, I would say. So, let's just talk about and discuss all these as we go on, as they continue the topic.
A really, really exciting time for Horizon Worlds. So we've got a slew of questions that I'm going to be asking today, and at the end we're going to be getting some questions from you all as well. So if you want to use the chat that is attached to this stage channel, I'd love to see your questions in there. We'll have a time for a few at the end. But let's get stuck right in. Let's not waste any time. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff. So Meg Fitz, my first question is to you, is what is Horizon's long-term vision, and where...
That's the right question to ask.
Yeah, great question. Well, I'll start by saying I have been working on this journey and been part of this for quite a while now. If any of you old school VR users were on Facebook Spaces back in the day, that was the first time we started thinking about...
That's not me. I don't even know what that is.
In VR. And this really is a continuation of that journey, and we have a long way to go, but we've made a ton of progress. So when we think about what Horizon Worlds is bringing to people, it is that power to connect over distance for communities to come together around great experiences and content, and creating a platform for people who have that creative vision and who have an idea of how to build a world that they want to bring to life, giving them the tools to do that. So it's about connecting people.
So immediate takeaway from what she's saying, in terms of product slash marketing direction, connecting people is still one of the keyword or key mission that Horizon Worlds has, which I think they are staying true to what Facebook or Meta is good at, which is a great thing that they try to maintain this. And they mentioned creativeness and allowing people to create what they see or what they imagine. I think that is a great boost or great factor behind upgrading the capabilities of Horizon Worlds. So hopefully that will get to a better place than what it is now. We have definitely seen that evolution. I said that in one of my other Build in Public video that despite all its flaws, it is actually being thought out and managed by a company who has a lot of brilliant people. So yeah, honestly, let's just see where this would go. But let's continue to listen.
People around great content and experiences and empowering the creators who want to go do that.
Yeah, I really love that. I think it's a really...
I would say though, one thing is maybe this is not a right context, and maybe this meeting, this Discord channel live is not the right context, but they did not bring up commerce. They did not bring up business, which obviously is what I care a lot about. It was encouraging though to see last year's MetaConnect, I believe, where Mark Zuckerberg listed out a few, main activities in Horizon Worlds. Commerce is one of them, which made me really happy, right? But I am still trying to see and waiting to see what commerce-friendly features and capabilities they will bring to the world, or if they will bring to the world. In the meantime, I think my pop-up store system is filling that particular gap.
Really awesome way of putting that, and I'm really excited for the future of that. And on that note, what sort of platform updates are you most excited about right now?
I'm being told my mic is quiet, so I'm gonna speak up, and then if you guys still can't hear me,
sounds fine to me.
I'll just start yelling. It's awesome. I get excited about this, so hopefully this is a little better. But some of the things that I'm really excited about are the new tools that are coming to Horizon for creators to make content that really just raises the ceiling of what's possible.
Okay.
You're going to hear a little bit more about that with Super Rumble and the work that Viker and his team have been doing. But as we've started looking at ways for people to create more interaction in their worlds, introducing Typescript rather than the code blocks that we had just in the creation tools before. We've also started experimenting with some ways to bring in custom assets that people are building and other third-party tools that maybe some of the folks with more experience in game design are a little bit more familiar with. But all of this comes together.
Dude, okay, this is huge. Again, this is me reacting late to the news already. So, a lot of people, especially the technical savvy ones, their mind has already been blown. So, you won't need me to, hype it up. But for people who are less familiar with technical, mumbo jumbos, Typescript is a rather powerful script. It's used in writing web browser apps mainly today. It is based off of JavaScript, a more powerful version of JavaScript, if you will, and it's used widely in the programming community. This means the ability for us to script things might improve drastically, and the complexity of it, obviously, might improve drastically in the future when they roll out Typescript. And that might open up many doors in terms of how well you can design the activity, how sophisticated the game and things like that can be. This is huge, right? And like I said, this is not a news to me. I fortunately do use a lot of JavaScript. Well, not a lot of, a fair amount of JavaScript at work. So I am, more or less familiar with that series of language. But TypeScript is still something new to me. In fact, after I heard this announcement, I have been, learning about TypeScript. In fact, right here, right. This is literally a practice project that I'm doing, using TypeScript, trying to write a game using TypeScript. So already trying to sharpen my skills and things like that. But yeah, we will talk more about that as they will as well. Another thing they brought up is custom assets into Horizon Worlds. That is gigantic, right? If there is one thing that it's Horizon Worlds is missing to make the worlds more customizable, more your world, right? In my opinion, that's custom assets, right? You can make things exactly how you like, your logos, even your merchandise, right? So something doesn't have to be built off of the primitive shapes. Not to cue primitive shapes, right? But things can be truly yours. All right, that is exciting. Let's keep listening to them.
Together to just create better games and worlds and experiences for everyone who uses Horizon, and then also just increases that ceiling for the people who want to create great worlds.
Yep,
We're just at
totally.
the beginning of this journey. This is a set of tools that we are testing internally. We might have a couple of folks who are giving it a try, but all of this is in the spirit of getting this out into the hands of more creators as fast as we can.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as soon as Super Rumble came out, the first thing that everyone was talking about was, oh wow, like how has this been done? How has that been done? I can't wait to get my hands on this stuff. Like, I think immediately people saw the massive potential of the sort of things that we're working on, and it was really awesome being in the community and seeing everyone get suddenly have these things in the public.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I have not yet checked out Super Rumble yet. I'm a PC game person, so usually like AAA games and stuff like that. So it's always a afterthought for me, right, to actually play a game in the headset. Maybe other than Beat Saber. That game is awesome. But anyways, yeah. So like playing games in headset is just not yet natural to me. I put on the headset almost 100% of the time for running and maintaining and upgrading my Immercell business. But, this is an opportunity to go check out what is coming down the pipeline in terms of capability. So if nothing else, and I'm sure it's a great game, I will have fun. But yeah, if nothing else, I will definitely go check it out maybe after this video recording, honestly.
That we've been trying and testing and working on and all coming together in this awesome game. So yeah, a lot of the listeners here today, as there's quite a few people, and again, thank you all for coming along. I know many of them were part of our wonderful beta weekend that we had for Super Rumble. So, Vico, a question for you. Tell us a little bit about the game, when it's launching, big secret, and why you are excited about it.
I mean, I think it's launching tomorrow. That's what I hear. We're super excited about this. This is the first time a team on Horizon, we built something and...
I mean, I will have to check the date. Did it actually this Super Rumble actually launched the day after this interview, because I came from one of the big tech companies. I still am at that company. So I'm quite familiar with how, scheduling and things work. On one hand, it's very carefully managed so the team can hit that schedule. But on the other hand, there could be so many accidents, variables that just came out of nowhere and ruined the plan. So yeah, so I mean, shout out to them. It's already launched, we know that. So shout out to them. And if it's on time as they said, then great job.
To end that uses almost every single new feature where the team is currently working on. I don't know if you all saw the teaser that we posted on Monday. The first thing we kicked it off with was animated guns. So like every single gun animates, has different animation states. There's a reload state, an idle state, a pickup state. You just didn't see that kind of animation in Horizon before this, and we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I will have to go check that out.
And if you
I will have to go check that out because I have scripted depending on your definition of animated guns, I guess. I've scripted a gun that, when it runs empty, the slide will cock back, and when you reload, the slide would, go back like an actual gun. Does that count? I don't know. I will have to go check out the game. I'm sure the visual is more sophisticated than what I have.
think about it, when you put motion onto things in Horizon, you can do NPCs. You can do motion in the environment. You can do so many things. And wait, Adrian, can you tell me if you heard the beeps just now?
Just slightly.
Okay.
Dude, okay, hold on. I got excited and messed up the video. NPCs. Holy shit. I was just chatting with Wayne's World the other day. We were talking how excited, how awesome it would be if we can script NPCs based off of AI, right? Like in my case, I specialize in showroom and store building. Imagine you have a virtual assistant AI or virtual store manager, if you will. That it's not even a bot; it's an NPC was stationed in your store, answer more basic questions for your customer, introducing them to your products, your stores, your visions, etc., and even have interactions with your customer to keep the world engaging. Holy shit. If that is, they haven't mentioned AI yet, but if that is down their roadmap, because Meta is a big AI company, they have a great AI research team, and they have been producing great products and language models. So I'm sure at some point they will, converge. And I just cannot wait. NPC for, virtual store manager. Boom! Wow. Okay, yeah. Let's keep this going.
Okay, let me turn that off. Let me make sure it's off. And so we're really excited about animations. We're also, of course, you've seen how beautiful the world looks. That's the custom models, the custom meshes that we're talking about. And the key is we're finding that if you only use meshes, it is far more optimized and performant than the old system. So we can make a world like Rumble, one of the most complicated worlds in Horizon history, and you're going to see tomorrow, it's going to run at 72 frames, or very close, 71 sometimes.
Wow. Okay. 70 frames per second. I mean, I don't, for all the gamers out there, that's a pretty good frame rate. That means everything is smooth. That means you can capture details. That means you are not, watching a slight show of a, scene that just transpires. That is impressive in Horizon Worlds, because I think we haven't seen anything close to that frame rate, yet. So good to know. Great job.
It's amazing. Like when you feel the gameplay and how
Yeah.
smooth it is, it's night and day. You just can't go back when you experience something like that.
I will need to go check it out.
pumped.
Yeah, that's
Well,
missed on my
our
part.
team's gonna all jump in. We hope to see some of you.
as soon as you mentioned 72 FPS, some people were like, yes, in the chat.
Yeah, yes.
Love to hear those
That is impressive. Computer AAA games sometimes run at around 60. So that's the comparison. Really good.
And I think it's that old adage of like, it's a lot of effort to make something look so effortless, right? So it's, I think, really appreciated. And we've got some questions in the chat, but it's going into our next point, which is cool, which is, can you tell us a little bit about the creators behind Super Rumble?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. 6 months ago, 5 months ago, we got a ton of feedback from a lot of people in this call. You know, they asked us direct questions like, are people internally really using these features cohesively? Are we trying to make something end to end? And sometimes as a team, we'll put out a new feature.
It's funny, when he was talking about are people internally really using, I thought the next, I thought the question is going to be really using Horizon Worlds, because that is actually a legit question that I know meta people has been asking. But I mean, that's not the point here. I just wanted to, bring up that funny fact. Let's keep going.
Feature, and it's maybe a little bit, less baked than it could be for creators like yourselves. And so we talked internally, and we thought, the best solution is to start a new first-party studio. And so we decided to bring...
Oh, Oro Interactive is first party. No wonder. I thought what they were doing when I first saw the name Oro Interactive, I thought they were bringing in an external game studio that's somehow focused on VR games and things like that. Maybe they had a deal with Meta vetted their capability, and then, have this whole thing going. But now, no, that actually makes a lot of sense, because the benefit of having a first party, almost like a startup within Meta, right? The benefit is that the studio don't need to worry about funding, right? They can just focus on building the best thing that they can. The second benefit for Meta is that they can get first-hand feedback using a team that's exclusively developing games to test out all these features and use this feedback to improve the system. So, okay, that is really smart.
Myself, a couple other builders on the Horizon team, we split off and we formed Oro Interactive. It's spelled O-U-R-O. And I could go into a little bit of like why we called it that, but we had 72 hours to figure out our name, our logo, our branding.
Oh, geez.
Impossible task.
My name definitely took longer than that.
All professional AAA developers.
My company
We've all
name.
built games that have been super successful in the past. All of us can code, we can do art, we can design.
Nice.
And that's how we started building Rumble together. It was our first practice project together, and we hope our next game will be even better.
Awesome, really awesome to hear. Because am I right in saying it's quite a small team, right? It's like...
Very small. We built Rumble with 7 people.
Wow. Also it just shows the power of collaboration.
Fun fact, 7 people obviously is a small team, but in a lot of technical projects that I have been a part of at my own company throughout the years, if you have a 7 people team, that's a big investment. And I mean pretty big. Obviously, there are huge projects that, involve 10, 20 people or something like that. But 7 people is actually not a very small team. That means Meta really believes in this to invest in 7 people to full-time do this. Just some interesting context, I guess.
That as well, I think it's really awesome. But yeah, I think a lot of game studios had I feel like you ask a lot of game studios where their name come from, and they're like, there was something over there, there was something over there.
I was having breakfast this morning, I saw a word.
Yeah. Hopefully maybe people can piece that together. Maybe we can get some guesses in the chat of what people think where the name came from. It points to the person who
Oracle.
right. Yeah, as I mentioned before, that a lot of people
Oreo?
pay for the beta weekend.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
They love being part of that, and there's a lot of feedback, and so many people. And what I loved was seeing the players in all the creators coming out. So suddenly everyone was no longer a creator; they were a beta tester and a player. So I think a lot of people would like to know, what are the major changes that have been made since that beta weekend?
Yeah, so after the weekend, we got a ton of feedback about the balance of the game itself. And so we did a balance pass on all the weapons. Some do less damage, some do more damage. And then the biggest change is we've reduced and powered up all of the superpowers. One thing we heard from the weekend was, if the superpowers take 30 seconds to recycle, I can't use it that often in a 5-minute game. And so now for something
That's
like
fair.
Super Jump, it's an 8-second cooldown. You're basically jumping all the time, and it's thrilling. People love that. It's so satisfying.
It's interesting that they are already thinking about balancing, which, well, in the sense of playing a game, that makes complete sense, right? But I'm wondering what makes a VR game fun. Because today, VR games ecosystem is not yet at the level of, let's just say, League, Dota, StarCraft, and stuff like that, where people worry more about the competitiveness, worry more about, hey, is that fair? Hey, min-maxing, right? Should I choose this class or that class? Are people really worrying about that? Or are people just looking for really exciting and fun and thrilling things to do? My perspective is on the latter. So, but I guess he also said it that allowing them to use the ability more often, then it's more fun, more thrilling, right? So I think that's definitely the right path to go down. I just don't want, at this very moment, them to really focus on balancing. Hey, your rocket launcher, it does way more damage than I don't know, your laser gun. Like, for example, that at some point will become an important factor, but isn't now. Just some food for thought, I guess.
We introduced a new superpower. I won't spoil it right now. It's my favorite.
That's right.
But it's
Giving
called Super
people
Punch.
more
And
to
for those that have
experiment
played
and
Super
try
Smash
out.
Bros. And know
That's the
Super
right way
Punch,
to do this.
You guys are gonna love this.
Oh,
So
nice.
give it a shot. We love it internally. We also introduced a lot of progression systems. We didn't have to do this for the beta because it was only a weekend, but there's over 90 different quests. There's 50 rewards that you can earn, from avatar skins to emojis to nameplates and titles. So there is a lot of content in this particular release, and
Nice.
everything's animated. Everything has visual effects now. You saw a lot of placeholders during
Nice.
the weekend, but now it's a polished, great experience.
Oh, does that mean including skins? Skins will be animated? And it would be huge if A, skins will be animated, and B, you can just wear it on your avatar and kind of bring it out into your other activities in Horizon Worlds as kind of a vanity showcase of your status. That would be cool. That would absolutely create the FOMO effect that will push people to play, to earn, to stay with the game, and that would push the game to be better and hopefully push Horizon Worlds to be better. So that is definitely the right call.
Awesome. I've not used this new superpower. Meg Fitz, have you used this superpower? Have you had a chance to jump in and use these yet?
Man, I am a sucker for the shield. I think it's a little OP still, Jeff, because I feel I can just
I have no idea what they're talking about. I have to go check out the game. This is, I have to do this.
During the beta weekend, there was someone I was playing against who was just the biggest fan of the shield. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna win every game, man! The shield is my power." I was like, it's so cool to hear people get so attached to those things.
Kind of reminds me of that anime where this main character girl just like puts every bit of stats into defense. Kind of reminds me of that for some reason.
Before, I think, Megfitz, you mentioned it with the custom model import coming in, and Jeff, you mentioned it with the features to make this amazing, is how would this improve creators' workflow in Horizon Worlds? I know you mentioned slightly that there's an efficiency to this.
Yep.
I don't know over to either. Which one of you thinks?
And make Fitz go
About
first.
some of our vision for the tools and how that comes to life. And I think Viker Jeff can talk a little bit about some of how that worked for their team.
Perfect.
I'm seeing the questions in chat. I hear you guys. Like, you want to get your hands on these as soon as possible.
Oh, yes,
Honestly,
please.
You want them to be in your hands too. Like, the
Yes,
creativity
please.
of this community is amazing. I will say, I think that Viker here is selling short some of the challenges of being the first team to test a lot of these tools. And there is a lot of work to do to make sure
Understand.
that when a creator gets their hands on these things, that they are able to deliver what they expect and what their communities expect. And so right now we're really working on polishing these things, making sure that when a creator uses them, it allows them to really deliver the content at the quality that they are expecting. And so having this team internally with Oro Interactive, who's able to help test these things, really work out the kinks, get those bugs out before they go out to the community, is so critical to avoid a situation where people start using these things and then say, hey, this isn't really doing what I want it to do. So it is absolutely our goal to empower the entire community with these, whether or not they are part of early access or a managed creator program. This is about getting these tools to anyone who wants to use them.
Thank you.
It's just going to take a little bit of time because it...
But yeah, I would say that I'm glad they are at least releasing this to a few more people other than Oro Interactives, because if a team is focused on one thing, they might not, get, or they might only encounter a unique set of issues, versus if you let more people use it, you will see more edge cases or more creative ways or even bugs as features, if you will, of how they will use a certain system. Then you will know how to adjust it for a general availability launch, right? To let everyone use it.
It has been a real challenge to make sure that we are delivering these in a way that's performant, that works with workflows, and delivers that quality of content that we know all of you really are interested in delivering. And so, Viker, maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the challenges and like kind of bringing this to life and being that first team to test some of these.
You're absolutely right. There have been some really painful days.
I'm sure.
I think if we release some of these features now, yes, Rumble is amazing, but if we gave the features right now as they are, I think a lot of you would be upset with us. Right? Like some of these, use cases, some of these pipelines, some of these flows, it's slow. It's hard. There's a lot of friction. There's a lot of bugs.
There is a sort of a, I don't know how famous it is, but definitely a lot of people knows about this. Is it's weird how when you're trying to demo something, it happened to me for more times than I want to remember. It's weird how sometimes when you're trying to demo a new piece of technology, Super Rumble is essentially a demo, that it just breaks. It will work perfectly until the very moment you want to showcase it to someone important, such as the Horizon Worlds community and stuff like that. And I'm not saying Super Rumble broke. I'm just saying that happens way more often than anyone likes to admit. So again, shout out to Oro Interactives for pulling this off.
And crashes, and because we're all technical, we're documenting and then we're implementing code to fix
exactly, and providing feedback to Meta to make it better. That's the whole goal.
You should focus on inventing and making fun things. You shouldn't be fighting the tools. And so I think it's really
that's very fair. Thank you, Meta, for recognizing that, because we have been fighting with the tools a lot lately.
It's just a smooth, great creation experience, and
yeah,
it's going to take a while. The reason is because these are all massive features. Going from primitives to custom mesh models, that is a gigantic shift in how you work, and there's so many tools involved in that, multiple steps. Or going from code blocks to TypeScript, It's a completely new programming paradigm.
Ooh.
Right? And yes,
Okay, so I mean, obviously, we don't know the answers, but it's interesting how he is saying from code blocks to TypeScript. Does that mean code blocks will get completely replaced? Does that mean, the primitive shapes will slowly phase out in favor of the custom mesh? Because here is a sentiment that I want to offer. I talked to the creator of Utopia VR a while ago. I think, maybe like a month ago or something. We kind of touched on this topic, which I actually am a fan of how scripting and building is done today in Horizon Worlds, or at least can be done, right? Which is via primitive shapes and basic scripting. The benefit of this is it lowers the entry barrier of the game for people to create amazing things. Honestly, there are a lot of amazing scripting and building in Horizon Worlds today without TypeScript, without custom meshes, right? A lower barrier of entry will definitely bring more people into the game to let more people enjoy the capability that Horizon Worlds offers. So I'm hoping that TypeScript and custom meshes is an option, is a level up that would allow you to do some of the amazing things, but will not completely replace primitive shapes and the current code blocks. A true customer reaction, I guess, me being the customer, is when I went into Altspace, when Altspace was still there. The programming there is fully through the MRE SDK, which is a complex piece of SDK, because one reason behind it is because it's not used in many other places, right? Another reason is the building is fully through, for example, Unity 3D rendering file upload. So for someone who is not a professional software engineer, I do okay with some complexity level of coding, right? But I'm not a professional software engineer. And I'm definitely not a professional 3D architect. I do a lot of designs because I think everyone has a unique sense of aesthetics and taste, and you can reason that into a design. But turning that design into a piece of 3D render is a whole different skill set, which I don't have, right? So once I see that it's the only available options pretty much in Altspace, I got deterred. I still want to learn, but that would be a long learning curve. So, all that is to say, I hope TypeScript and 3D meshes, custom meshes will not replace the current building system in Horizon Worlds, but add it on top of it.
Raises the ceiling of everything that is possible, but these are big, big, big features, and it's going to take a little bit, but the team's working really hard. The vision is still to get these tools into your hands.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you both on that. I hope everyone, I think everyone will really appreciate that from both of you. I think it is sometimes easy to look like, oh, well, this looks like fun, and it's like, well, actually, it's like swimming through treacle to make sure it's smooth sailing for, and it's actually...
I have all my white hairs just from building Rumble.
How many it multiplies?
I have white hairs building Immercell, I feel him.
On that front, but we want to make sure that it is something that is just for everyone. Just looking at some of the guesses for Oro, someone says that Oro means gold in Latin. But I think someone's just got it right. Sci-Fi Lemon says Oro is also like the Ouroboros. Can you confirm?
Oh.
We definitely have 2 winners.
Oh.
We originally called the studio Ouroboros.
That reminds me of
the idea
Full Metal Alchemist, Ouroboros.
Us making a game
The
from scratch and rebirthing and making a new game over and over. We love that concept. But nobody knows how to say
the
Ouroboros.
bad
So
guys
spell
faction.
that.
I forgot what they were
Everyone wants
called.
to write the email address of the
But yeah, I know.
Ouroboros.
I love the
So we
anime.
thought
Full
we
Metal
would shorten
Alchemist.
it. And then we saw gold, right? In I think it was Portuguese as well.
Nice.
Oro also means, depending how
That's
you
not
define
a
one's journey,
bad
in
name
Japanese.
in under
So we
72
love this
hours.
idea of going on this journey and kind of defining the gold standard of games, bringing the golden experience to players.
Very ambitious.
And so
I like that.
Awesome. Look at that. Smashed it. Well done, those people. A question for you, Mayf, is another one. So we've talked about a custom model asset import. And it's also Typescript. Some people have heard that that's coming and that's been used in this situation. How is that going to impact scripting in Horizon Worlds as a whole? And maybe Viper afterwards you can talk about how that was helpful in Super Rumble.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that I'm excited about, and I should say in my role on the team, a lot of what I am thinking about is how do we talk about Horizon to a broader group of people so that they also understand like the magic of what Horizon offers.
Exactly.
That there is this endless world of possibility, and making sure that we're telling the story of Horizon in a way that builds this community and brings more people through the door. And honestly, with something like TypeScript, we have just raised the bar in terms of what's possible with these interactive
By a lot.
experiences.
Raise the bar
So
by a lot.
Right now, this idea that you are able to kind of create all of the interactive elements that something like a Super Rumble requires, whether that is around those retention components, if you're a creator and you want to think about how do you bring people back in by having these rewards, these leaderboards, if you want to have those much more complex scorekeeping and like models of how you allow people to kind of like interact with the different elements of your world, all of that gives us the tools to kind of talk about all the things you create in Horizon, and bring in more people who are going to join your community, who are going to experience your worlds, and just get more out of this experience. And so we've been really inspired by what people have done with the code blocks in Horizon. Like there is some real innovation and some real creativity there. And that this is not to say that those worlds aren't kind of delivering amazing value for their communities. What we're doing is kind of introducing this new tool set where people who do want to go deeper and do want to create those more interactive elements can do that. And so we really think about the range of creation and all of the ways that people may want to focus on a community hangout space or a role-playing world, but also take it all the way up to building a really deep game and being able to give home to all of those things here in Horizon. TypeScript really allows us to.
They kept mentioning games, and obviously that's a tool, if you will, to push the technology to advance, and I absolutely am fine with that. I'm a gamer myself. But something interesting is a lot of the store capabilities that I am creating for my customers right now, or just in general, has a lot to do with games. Gamified mechanisms to boost sales, including my current pop-up store system offering. It's, you could technically classify as that as a game functionality or feature. So I definitely see the reasoning behind it. I just hope they don't stop at games, right? That's a great starting point. Please keep going. Keep expanding the capability and use cases, right? That's also why at the beginning I said it would be great if a product director can be here present and talk about this, because they will have a more longer term vision and sort of a end goal when they look at this, to maybe share a bit more about where they think this will go, even past the gaming aspect of things. But no, this is good. This is good.
To do that, along with all of these other tools that we've been talking about.
Yeah, something that I see people say in the community a lot is that people come here for different reasons, but yeah, having those skills for just the whole range, right? So people who do just want to come here and play with the more basic tools and the simpler things and make spaces just for them and their friends, but yeah, like you say, sort of giving the seat for people who really want to dig deep and sort of challenge themselves as well as what the platform can do. I think it's exciting. And Viking, if you want to speak about how that helped you with Super Rumble, I'm assuming similar. You were sort of a lot of going through treacle with that one.
I was a goofball showing my Oro tattoo to the chat because they were mentioning it.
Oh, I did not realize that's the Oro tattoo. I'm like, is that a TypeScript tattoo? That that is a bit too geeky. No, but that makes sense.
So like it was
TypeScript.
Yeah, TypeScript. How did that impact your work for Super Rumble?
Yeah, totally. I mean, so I mentioned earlier, this is the first time such a complicated game got 72 frame rate. TypeScript was a big reason for it. If you think about how you kind of architect your worlds or your games or your interactions using code blocks, it's actually quite inefficient. And so TypeScript allows you to do everything in a very performant way. And so that was a big reason Super Rumble can perform at 72 frame rate. And I think the key, as I mentioned earlier, as a creative person, or as many of you are developers or creators yourselves, we don't want to fight the tools necessarily. Constraints are good, but code blocks was a little bit too limiting. And so
I agree.
We are realizing on the Oro team, we can imagine almost any idea, and it's possible. The only constraint we have now is the hardware, right? Because we're using like a mobile chipset, and that is the right constraint.
We are getting Quest 3. That will come.
Code blocks. It's the wrong level of abstraction, the wrong level of constraint. And so TypeScript, I think, personally, was single-handedly the biggest feature that will change Horizon forever.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Awesome. I think
Zero doubt.
I've just got one more question, and then we're going to take some of the questions from the audience and stuff like that. I just would hope that you could just speak a little bit about some of the progression system in Super Rumble and things like
that's what creates the FOMO effect. That's important.
Just touch a little bit on that. That would be great.
Hello.
Well,
Viker and I do a fair amount of these Q&As, but we've done them in Horizon before, so we're like used to the body language. We're just like,
Who's gonna jump in?
I'm excited about this, and you can talk specifically to Super Rumble, but I think a lot of folks here would have seen that this Tuesday we actually released the quest and rewards system for Horizon Worlds All Up. And so if you haven't jumped in there and seen the great rewards that you can get for just exploring and going to the worlds that you would have seen anyway, now you can unlock unique avatar items, you can unlock emotes, and so just really rewarding people for doing the things that they would have done in Horizon anyway.
Give more people more special abilities, whether they actually has an impact, to the world, or if just for aesthetics, cool looking, etc. It doesn't matter. Give people more special stuff to showcase. That will attract more attention, create the, oh, I want that as well effect, which drags people in. That's the same thing as, running a virtual store or running a company or making, Horizon Worlds better. That's the same thing, the constant.
Have that ability to express themselves, show off a little bit of their identity, even kind of show off what worlds you hang out in. Like, if you were someone who's like in giant mini paddle golf every week, like you can get a unique item there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe another world where you're spending time. So
imagine this in a virtual store context. If you are a big spender, if you buy a unique thing, if you participated in a game and win, that the store manages and owns and get bonuses out of that whole experience, you can show off that. That is huge. There is a saying, I forgot the exact wording, but the concept of it goes like, people will never voluntarily do marketing for another company that they are not related to, but they will almost always voluntarily brag about achievements and unique things they get out of the experience, which would be golden marketing opportunity for a business. And that actually has been always my goal in helping my customer building out their virtual store experience. They would want to, with the limit technology right now, at the very least, the world needs to look cool, has interesting interactivities that they will at least want to, take a picture of, tell their friends they've been there, play the game is fun, experience the world, and it's interesting at the very least that. Yeah, so 100% agree.
I love that this is going to bring that individuality to the community and kind of give people a way to show off the things that they're most passionate about. And then also from the creator perspective, we're looking at ways to start allowing more people to offer those types of rewards. I know a lot of creators are already using the achievement system to kind of drive people into like certain parts of your world or recognize their achievements. And now we're just kind of layering on top of that. So when I think about what this unlocks, it's really that individuality and opportunity for people to express themselves, show off where they spend some time, kind of have that swag that makes it a little bit cooler than everybody else in the world.
Absolutely. That's key.
Like my new emotes.
Don't laugh. That is key.
We've really taken it to the next level, and you guys have just done a ton to work in all of these amazing quests and rewards. One complaint though, man, I'm a long way from some of those items. Like, this goes pretty deep, doesn't it?
The grind is real.
100%.
The grind is real.
We designed the progression system in Rumble to, one, you always have something you can go for. Whether it's try to go for 100 kills with a grenade launcher, or try to go for use the shield ability, 10 more times. But we also purposely hid a bunch of the quests. So you can't just see everything all at once. And I'm waiting. There's going to be somebody that's going to be the first person to get the pirate title. It's going to be amazing to see that player earn it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll mention two more secrets that I absolutely love and I can't wait. We loved how competitive friends are in Rumble. Like, we see a group of friends go in just take it out on each other for hours. And we love that. And we love the trash talk.
Trash talkers.
The kind of ranting at each other. And so there are two secret rewards. I'm curious who's going to be the first people in the world to earn them. There's an emoji you can get that is a salt shaker. So
nice. Dude, if that salt shaker is animated, it's like you do a gesture with your controller, and that shaker pops out and do dude, that is gonna be nice.
That's brilliant. I did not know about this. It's the first time hearing about that too. Exclusive for you all here.
Nice.
Discord chat. I love that.
It's definitely the right direction. That making it fun, making it FOMO, making it special, making people grind for it, right? That's definitely the right direction.
I want to head over there, but I think that's a really nice element. We've only got a few minutes left, and I know you two are super, super busy people, so I've got a couple of questions. I asked people to either put some questions into the chat for this chat, words, into the chat for this stage, or also pre-ask them in a thread. So I've got a couple. First one was the most upvoted in the chat was, how do you recommend creators to prepare while we wait for all those new tools to be available? That's from Pigeon number 12.
Yeah, I mean, as a creator myself, and one that wears multiple hats, there's a couple things you can do immediately. On different websites, on YouTube, you can start learning Typescript today. And, in just a couple months, you can greatly level up your programming capabilities and learn the basics of how do you create a game in Typescript. It is different, right, than other gaming languages that other studios have used, like Lua or whatever. So it is different, and it's worth kind of digging in and learning that right away. But the custom meshes coming, it is about learning the desktop tools that kind of professional artists and professional teams have used for years, if not almost a decade at this point. So Blender, Maya, dig in, right? Learn how to use these tools, start creating the models. You can do all of this work before it hits the horizon. And if you have these skills, they, basically translate immediately. And so you can do a lot before the tools are actually available.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I think that's the only way to prepare for these upgrades coming to Horizon Worlds. But this is still my build in public recording, and this particular section might be my actual post on Instagram because it doesn't take this long of a video. Here are my thoughts about how I would prepare for TypeScript and 3D meshes coming to Horizon Worlds. I've always been a firm believer that let professional people do professional things, which means that if you have the professional or good enough skill to do something, you should focus on that. And if your attention, your passion, your ability is somewhere else, you should focus on those things instead of learning to become an expert at something that you are not immediately an expert, especially if that something has been out there for years, right? It's not a net new to everyone. Then in that case, you should definitely try to learn, right? But if, for example, TypeScript, for example, Blender, Unity, whatever, these softwares are used in the programming industry, software industry, and the 3D rendering industry, gaming industry for years, for decades, like Viker put it. For me to master these two skills, it would just not be cost effective, right? So as a company, I obviously look to provide my customer with the best product out there, which means I will have to use TypeScript to recreate my pop-up store system potentially, to create all the interactivities a virtual store has that would just be the complexity and the fidelity would be on the next level. I obviously will need to help my customers, probably not all, but at least some, to create their virtual store using these custom meshes so it looks just like another tier of niceness, So how would I do that? I will do that through contracting. Again, let professional people do professional things. I will find good contractors and cost-efficient contractors to help me with TypeScript and 3D rendering while I do what I'm good at, which is essentially what all entrepreneurs have to be good at, which is being a good product manager, maintaining the product direction, understanding the scope of the product, continue to sharpen the value that my company can provide to my customer, and let my contractors to do the technical work for me. Now, at the beginning of the video, I showed you guys this, which is my my practice project to learn to sharpen my TypeScript skills. This is actually writing me trying to write a game using TypeScript. Then you might ask, why the heck are you, learning TypeScript now that you said you want to use contractors? The answer is I don't have to be good at either TypeScript or 3D rendering projects, but I have to understand the basics. I have to know how to check for quality, check for if something built is it's matching my product requirement, to provide feedback to my contractors so they can change or to improve their project according to my requirements. all these will require me to have a certain level of understanding of these two big pieces of technology. And that in particular is what I will be doing from now on, all the way till these two pieces of technologies are out and available to everyone in Horizon Worlds. So yeah, that's some thought that I think it's quite important to share and to speak out loud, frankly, so I myself can hear it and validate this train of thought again, which I think makes sense to myself. Yeah, let's finish the last bit of the video.
Really great advice.
Yeah. I think one thing that is, I think a challenge that a lot of like times we think about is how do we kind of get to the core of what's really fun about an experience and not sort of overload it with things that maybe take away from that fun. Anyone has the opportunity to kind of prototype some of these experiences in Horizon today. Like bring your friends in, like create some of these spaces that you want people to.
Community is still of the top importance.
Sort of like the tours on Friday,
supporting each other.
Everyone's getting, and so share your ideas.
Actually, I do want to talk a bit more about this. Contractors can come from many areas. If you in community is the utmost important. So if you see your friends, people who you know from Horizon Worlds, maintain that relationship. Try to work on a project or two together and understand how they work, understand where their ability level is at. Having that group of connection and being able to use their skills when suitable and when necessary is huge. I just talked about using contractors, right? It's two simple words, using contractors. But if you actually try to find good contractors, having them land your project, having them, program and build your project the exact way you want, I can already tell it's going to be hard. It's not going to be, look, I'm paying you, you do this for me, done. It's never that easy, right? So maintain your community of connection, discover what each person, each of your friends' special powers are. That is very important. And that can benefit the community, benefit my own, and hopefully your business as well.
I think one of the things that sometimes can feel a little bit intimidating is like jumping into these new tools and projects.
Yeah, it could definitely be intimidating.
And I think one of the things that even Viper would say and the team has found is that like kind of getting to the really core, simple idea of what that fun experience is so much more important than sort of like the technical aspects. If you know what that fun piece is, you can really lean in and deliver that. So I love seeing how this community gives each other feedback and kind of shares those thoughts and ideas. And I think just keep that going because that's going to set you up really well as these tools are all released out to the rest of the creator community. That's
how we all grow, right? We're learning from each other, speaking to each other.
Exactly.
That stuff. That's great. I have one last question, which I saw was pre-asked, which I just thought it was funny in a way. And I'm going to say it word for word. What are the plans for Arena Clash now that a better game and experience exists?
Okay, I want to go that far.
For the record, I like that game. It's not bad at all.
Say this, but no, we're going to continue working on Arena Clash. Actually,
good to hear.
There is a team that we hired that will actually take Arena Clash, continue working on it, continue adding updates. They will upgrade it as well, but we're going to take the two games in very different directions. And so Arena Clash will be focused more on team-based gameplay, team game modes, and it will look great, it will play great as well. And then Super Rumble, we're going to focus more on that old school, that retro kind of Quake gameplay, Unreal gameplay, but we added superpowers. So it's all about just...
But honestly, no, if Super Rumble is going to continue down this path, with every upgrades and nice progression system grinding, they talked about no one's gonna care about Arena Clash if it only see, basic level upgrades. Just a fact.
Just like, what combo do you want to create? What weapons, what superpowers, and play your way however you want every single game. So, yes, they're both first-person shooters, but they'll be very different experiences.
Brilliant. I think a lot of people, there's a big Arena Clash community out there, so I think they'll be very excited to hear about that. Well, that's the end of our time. Thank you both, Megfits and Vika, for having your time with us today. I know you all had a lot of questions. I'm hoping that we can go back through and provide some answers outside of this chat.
This is a nice interview. It's very...
That we didn't get to yours. We will
it's 30 minutes, but actually more content-packed
but yes,
than I thought it would be.
This has been recorded,
Awesome.
So hopefully we can get this to you so you can all watch it back. And I'll let you all enjoy the rest of your day. Again, thank you so much, Megfits and Vika.
Cool stuff.
And we'll speak to you all soon. Very excited for the launch tomorrow.
Well, that is it. I hope this is interesting, and I hope I will find a way to cut this down to, Instagram suitable pieces so I can post this as my Build in Public journal on Instagram. We will see. Until next time, peace.